Am I the asshole for not giving my inheritance to any of my siblings? My dad has passed away and I have gotten all of his inheritance. My dad raised us in strict military-style household. He was a horrible father who take things to the extreme in our childhood, and all of his children stopped talking to him. He treated us like we were his property and belittled us all the time, almost as if he hated our existence. He actually disowned me when I was 15 because I gotten pregnant out of marriage with a man who was black and kicked me out to fend for myself, so I had to figure out how to provide for myself and my child. My dad ended up contacting me a month after my mom passed away, crying and apologizing on how he treated me and my siblings, and asked if we could meet up. I decided to meet up with my dad because even though my dad wasn't the greatest father, it doesn't change my love for him. When we met up, my dad seemed very genuine, so I continue seeing him, which increased to me seeing 3 times a week. My dad also tried contacting my sibling, but none of them give him the time of day. I spoke to my siblings about the issue and they basically told me to allow him to die a lonely death. Later on, my dad got super sick and I ended up moving in with him with my 2 children to help take care of him. I learned things about my dad that I never knew, and I actually started to love being around him and see him as a different person. I choose to forgive him. It was hard looking after my dad and my 2 children as a single mother, but I pushed myself through it until his death. But during the hard times I asked my siblings for help and they both mocked me for even helping my dad, told me I should just throw time in an old-aged home, and even asked for me to take pictures of him so they could see him weak. My sibling and our relationship used to be super close, but ever since I started talking to my dad they became distant. Now that my dad has passed, I have inherited everything from him and learned that my father owned a lot more properties and had a lot more money than I could have ever imagined. My siblings feel like they are entitled to some of the inheritance and have told me if I don't give them any they'll stop talking to me and that I'm becoming like my dad. They feel like since they had to go through having my dad as a father that they deserve some kind of payout. I disagree with them. The reason I got the inheritance is because I gave my dad another chance. I helped him when he was at his weakest, and I went through a lot juggling raising my children and caring for my dad without any of their help. Even when I begged them to help me, they just made fun of me for helping my dad and choosing to forgive him. Now forgiveness is a choice and I respect their choice not to forgive, but they didn't respect mine to forgive him and added more difficulty to my life. They act like it was either them or my dad, and now are acting like I'm being selfish for not sharing the inheritance my dad left for me. Am I the asshole for not giving some of my inheritance to my brother and sister?